All right. All right. This is my first live stream on YouTube, so I'm taking a moment just to make sure I know what I'm doing. I'm not familiar with the interface, so spare me too much judgment. All right, so tonight we're gonna do some EVE Online from the get-go, from the start. And doesn't look like I have my music player. I use YouTube to play all my music, so there's not going to be any background music from YouTube because I'm recording with YouTube. It's a learning process. So I got, let's get going. Let's do it. Since there is no music on my end, let's go ahead and use some game music. You need something, right? Something for background noise. You have a lot of options as to what you can choose for your starting character with EVE Online. No matter what you choose to do with your time in game, your race is kind of irrelevant except for one key point, and that's where you start on the map. EVE Online is one of the hugest games ever conceived of, and at this time the largest game in deployment, which means any video game you play won't have a map as large as EVE. All the solar systems in the game, you can go anywhere in them. except for onto the planets per se, although there is something called planetary interaction where you can put things on the planet. There are thousands of solar systems, and where your character starts depends on what race you choose. Every race can fly every other race's starships as long as you train your skills to allow for it. My other characters that I have established live in a Mars space, so we're going to just start an Mars character. I don't specifically like how they look visually, aesthetically compared to other races, but that's somewhat irrelevant because you're not going to be looking at your pilot all that often. You're not going to be walking around all that often. This is not Star Citizen. You spend all your time in a spaceship, so what you're seeing is spaceships. So now we're going to select our Mars origin. This does somewhat impact your starting experience because some of your base skills depend on your origins. For example, tradesman and artisan, so you're probably going to get some trade skills. I don't know. We'll just look through it. Honestly, I'm just going to choose whichever one I like the looks of most. And then we're going to customize that appearance. I always play it as a lady. It's not from a place of anything other than I'd rather look at a lady than a dude. So we're just going to make her fit as a fiddle. We don't want her skin messed up, so we're just gonna make her, you know. I get to choose some eye colors. And eye types. As you can see, you get a little bit of difference in how the eye actually looks. This is kind of cool. I'm not gonna waste too much time in character creation. No, it's not about that, in all honesty. Wow. Some of these hairstyles are just wow, huh? Can only work with what they give you, and honestly, character creation is somewhat limited because, again, you're not spending all day looking at this character, you're just seeing the portrait, which, when you get ready to finalize your character, oh shit. Bogging it off. That was an accident. Yeah, when you get ready to fly your ship, you'll take a portrait picture, which is basically kind of like your driver's license picture, so there's a little bit of that going on. That's about as close as we'll get it to my actual hair color, because I can. No other reason. It smells like my girlfriend's making something delicious in there, and I have no need to have any part in that, and I'm going to be anyways, because I like delicious things. What are you making? Something. It smells delicious. get dark and goth. Don't judge me. Or do judge me. Shit. We're not going to spend too much time on it. As I said, it's going to be straightforward. How do you make it pointier, though? I like an upturned nose, you know what I mean? I'm terrible at face sculpting, if you can't tell. It is what it is. Don't judge me. Or do. I don't give a shit. You can't screw it up too bad. Don't put it past me to try to screw it up bad. I mean, from a distance, she doesn't look like a genetic freak, so let's call that a net victory. How about that? I don't want a baggie, we know that. You can buy cosmetics like clothing, so you can get outfits. It costs you out the nose, but I mean, if you want to get proper clothes for your character to wear other than the starter trash, it is possible. But again, you're really not going to see this stuff after you get your so-called flyer's license, if you like. Clearly, they don't give you a lot to work with. Screw it. There you go. What do you know? Got a little bit of bling. Real basic stuff. You'll never see her again. Alright, so here we go. Military, exploration, industrial. This kind of dictates your starter skills, such as they are. You basically got to learn everything in the game no matter what, but what you choose here will determine probably a good week or so of extra training time that you're avoiding. So if you go combat and you decide to be industrial later, you're going to spend a week, you know, training in the other direction. You'll see how that works in a moment. We're going to do industry, because this is a mining barge character. So we're going to call her... I don't know, what should we call her? Let's see what they give us for a name. Wow. These are really bad. By the way, this game originated in Iceland, so I'm sure some of these names make sense to an Icelander. Sounds like Swedish or something. Bark Vikernes was basically the founder of black metal, so black metal came out of Norway. I feel that this is kind of a necessary thing. Alright, enjoy.
A universe brimming with possibility and rife with adventure. Only the most intrepid capsuleers can conquer its many wonders. Do you have what it takes to become one with the machine? To explore the far reaches of space, carving out a name for yourself among the stars.
I don't know why it's lagging.
Become a titan of industry, amassing wealth, power, and prestige as you rise above your rivals. Or to prove your worth in combat, cementing new alliances and vanquishing your foes on your path to glory. For the rare few, immortality awaits. With Air's Capsuleer Training Program, you become the architect of your own destiny.
And that's where your character lives, is in that pod thingy.
Greetings, Captain. I am Aura, your AI companion. I am here to help you find your way through New Eden. Welcome to the first day of your new life as a Capsuleer. I am now transferring your pod into a ship, provided by Air as part of your capsule. Captain, an unidentified communicate. Vectoring escape route. Evacuation sequence initiated. Captain, this cloning facility was attacked before your capsule could be inserted into a ship. I initiated our evacuation sequence before we reached the hangar to avoid certain death. No need to thank me.
You cannot maintain these speeds on these icy roads.
This baptism by fire is certainly not what air had planned for your first day in a pod. Rest assured, I am here to help. I'm unable to identify our attackers, but they are not currently targeting our capsule. This gives us time to locate a ship. Your pod may be able to fly through space, but like all capsules, it is unarmed. Now, let's get a better look at our surroundings. There is a ship still capable of flight. An asteroid, no less. I have highlighted the navigation section of your display.
By the way, this never happens. You don't just find ships floating in space. Although you can eject from your ship and jump into an empty ship that you can fly. But it should be noted that you need skills to fly everything in the game.
Our shields took significant damage in the attack.
Yes, I know.
The armor is also in need of repair. I believe the appropriate idiom for this situation is we're screwed. Fortunately, the cavalry has arrived. Ships bearing air transponders are approaching our location.
This is Balin Ferris, Commander of Air Security. All ships evacuating this cloning facility are advised to rendezvous at emergency coordinates.
Several thousand civilians appear to have survived the attack. Let us make haste and join the fleet Commander Ferris is organizing. Your overview will display the ships in your vicinity.
Captain, your vessel looks like it's in better shape. I'll repair you once you're in range.
You only get repaired by people that are player characters that are in your corporation.
Determine the identity of our attackers.
Negative, Aura. Their transponders were closed and the hulls lacked any identifying information. I'd wager this was an act of corporate espionage turned violent. There are a lot of people in New Eden who want to get their hands on Air's technology, whatever the cost.
Thanks to Commander Ferris's repairs, our ship is almost as good as new. At his command, we will proceed to the emergency coordinates.
All ships enter warp formation. We've now arrived at Air's designated emergency evacuation zone.
A spot well chosen. This location's cosmic abnormalities will mask our warp signatures from detection. But our appreciation of New Eden's natural wonders will have to wait.
Captain, I could use your help. My sensors are picking up a strange signal nearby, but my forces are stretched thin defending the civilian fleet. to defend those unarmed civilian transports. All ships equipped for combat, form up around me.
My sensors indicate that these are the same ships that attacked the cloning facility.
Several frigates are breaking away from the pack. They're targeting those civilian ships.
This will be your first combat experience as a Capsuleer. Time to show these hostiles.
Yes.
We're too far away, Captain. Thankfully, our ship is equipped with a module that will boost our speed.
Yes.
We're now within range. Target lock confirmed. Time to hit them where it hurts. Fire at will, Captain. Make sure to use both of your guns.
That's it, Captain. Let him have it.
Another hostile ship incoming. A cruiser this time. It's larger and better armed than those frigates. That cruiser is traveling. Activate the webifier. They're trapped in our web, Captain. Eliminate them.
Stopping the last civilian transport from warping away. Watch your six, Captain. They're bigger and badder than anything you've fought before.
Hey, look up dark side Phil, not.
Captain, we can use electronic countermeasures, ECM, to break the battleship's lock on the civilian transport. Doing so means there is no other way to save those civilians. They are not Capsuleers like you.
That's it. The final group of civilians has escaped. You've done good, Captain.
We're taking heavy fire, Commander Ferris. Once our ship is destroyed, the pod will soon follow. According to my calculations, our destruction is 99.99% certain.
Oh, that part's real at least.
cataclysm's death. Luckily for you, it will not be your last. You are a capsuleer. For you, death is not an end. It is simply the beginning of a new adventure. As always, I will see you on the other side. Welcome back to the world of the living, Captain. I hope your death was not too uncomfortable.
Allow me to introduce myself. I'm Vesper Calatrix, Air's Vice President of Operations. Commander Ferris spoke highly of your courage under fire. You went out with...
I will enable your station's services panel so that you may board the ship provided to you by air.
Your next adventure will hopefully prove less explosive. We have a lead on who attacked the cloning facility, and we want you to follow up on it.
Captain, you can access objects currently stored at the station. Now, let's take a look at the module. A mining laser upgrade. A curious choice, Miss Calatrix. How will a mining module help our investigation? Now, bring the module online. It appears you do not currently possess the skill necessary to use this module. Hardly surprising. You still have much to learn. Please direct your attention to the icon on the display that I have highlighted for you. Please direct your attention to the icon on the display that I have highlighted for you. You can add the missing skill to your training key now. Access the skills are essential for all capsuleers in New Eden, as they serve as the primary measurement of one's growth. Training a new skill takes time, as the neural pathways of your... Now, all you have to do is confirm that you wish to use the training required for...
I should point out that you can train skills while doing other things. It's a good strategy to always have something training. I guarantee other capsuleers will be doing just that. We wouldn't want... To that end, I've sent the air skill plan to your AI. Normally, you would have received it as part of your capsuleer training program starter package, but your training was violently disrupted, to say the least.
Miss Calatrix's advice is, the more skills you acquire, the stronger you'll be. As you continue to grow as a capsuleer, you can adjust your skill acquisition to achieve your desired goals.
Looks like you're ready to roll, Captain. Our agent will rendezvous with you at the mining site. Keep your eyes open and watch your six.
Miss Calatrix is right. Time is of the essence. I suspect something nefarious might be occurring at the air mining site. Undock from this...
Looks like you're ready to roll, Captain. Our agent will rendezvous...
You'll notice you get free stuff along the way. Every day you log in, you get some stuff. Most of it's useless. Skins are trash. In-game currency's nice, but they don't give you enough to amount to a hill of beans. I mean, in the beginning where I'm at now, it means a lot, but 100,000 ISK for somebody that's been playing for a year is a drop in the bucket. It's like half a penny. That was weird. My soundbar cut off.
Facility is exceptionally small. 1 in 37 million to be exact. Let us make haste and walk to the site immediately.
Gotta
Let us
keep
make
training.
that
Should always have skills
assault
training.
immediately. Warp drive
Skills train in
detected.
real time. If you clock out, close the game, and go about your life, turn off your computer, your skills still train as long as your skill is in your skill queue. The greatest elements of old school Eve was that you could not shortcut a long-term development through training. And they ruined that system with something called skill injectors, where you can buy these objects and then shoot skills into your brain and learn stuff instantly. It was ridiculous. But even though I look down on it, you're going to have to use it if it exists, because otherwise you're just tying one hand behind your back.
The scale of Air's mining operation is rather impressive for such a young corporation. They must be remarkably well funded. It is little wonder that Miss Calatrix would suspect espionage.
I have one of those. It's called an
Further
orca.
speculation will have to wait. We're being hailed by that orca.
You must be the fresh meat Vesper told me to expect. Elias Pelton.
We're here to assist in any way we can with locating the source of the unusual signal you've intercepted.
Unusual's one way of putting it. Pain in my ass is another. The signal's bouncing around these assholes.
Miss Calatrix has outfitted us with a mining laser upgrade.
Good old Vesper, always 10 steps ahead. Now, let's put that bad boy to use. Best way to blend in is by getting your hands dirty with the crew. Some miners fly solo, but a project this big isn't exactly a one-man show. Sometimes the only way to get shit done is with a fleet. Bet this is the first time you mine with a crew. No offense or anything, you just got that shiny meat pod smell on you. Follow my lead, you'll be mining like a pro in no time.
If your competence matches your confidence, we are in good hands indeed.
Please, call me Elias. Mr. Pelton, it makes me feel like an old man. My old man, specifically. Miserable son of a bitch. Just about spat in my face when I left his crusty old Caldari corp to make my own way.
Sincerest apologies, Elias. Our first name basis shall commence immediately.
Good. I like to keep things informal here, keeps morale up. This crew's full of people like me following the siren song of sweet, sweet independence. Doesn't hurt that the money is good, too.
Should have used my afterburner.
Captain, we're now within range of the asteroid. We should stop here. Now is the time to activate your minor module, Captain.
There's something spectacular about a fresh asteroid, isn't there? Play your cards right and that giant hunk of rock becomes a giant pile of riches.
Which is what this character was created to do.
You can view your very own pile of rocks, as Elias puts it, in your cargo hold. It's actually all non.
It might not look like much, but that's not just a pile of ore. It's a pile of possibilities. You can sell it, refine it, trade it. The choice is yours.
All I want to do is access the game, and I have to jump through all these hoops of hand-holding before I can just play. I don't know if I'm going to stay awake through this entire tutorial.
Harvesting resources is one of the best ways to earn money in New Eden. And if you're going to make it as a capsuleer, the one thing you got to know is that money is king. Hell, with enough ISK, you'll be able to buy yourself a sweet ride like that venture over there.
Or an orca.
That's one down. And now, on to the next. Follow me, Captain. Stick close. This asteroid field can...
Good.
Just like that last asteroid. Looks like you're a natural at this. Keep it up. Vesper will be offering you my job soon.
Elias, are there any words of wisdom you find particularly valuable for new miners?
Oh man, where to start? First off, you gotta know the difference between raw ore and refined minerals. What we're doing right now is mining ore in its raw state. For someone just learning the ropes, selling that ore is the quickest way to make ISK. But you can also reprocess ore into minerals. Take titanium, for example. You can't find that stuff in the wild. You've got to get your hands on some raw ore, like feldspar, and then refine it into titanium. You can sell those minerals or use them to build your own ships or equipment. You can find refineries at most stations. Experienced miners get way more efficient yields from their ore, so that's something you can work towards.
Another asteroid.
We better close in on that rock.
So sleepy. Oh, shit.
The signal is exceptionally strong in this location. Let's stop the ship here. The signal appears to be emanating from
You can break this baby apart just like that. We can whittle away at this asteroid without damaging whatever's broadcasting that signal.
That is Omega. You can play any character in Alpha State, which is the not pay-to-play
I
state.
think we just found what we're looking for.
The signal source appears to be that wrecked frigate. This particular model is a Dramiel. Most notably, it bears a striking the fact that the wreck is isolated.
Well, we're not going to get any solid answers on it.
The signal is strongest in the vicinity of the Dramiel's cargo hold.
I do love the feeling of...
It appears to be a black box. A device designed to survive the destruction.
That's nice and all, but can you open it?
Negative, Elias. Captain, the box is protected by multiple layers of encryption. While it's theoretically possible to hack into such a container, you will need significantly more training in that skill before attempting such a feat.
Don't think it's safe to crack it open here anyway. Where there's smoke, there's fire. One scout ship might mean they got friends lurking nearby. If we could trace that signal, so could someone...
Elias is correct, Captain.
I don't want you out there alone. I'll send some of my best pilots back with you. Safety in numbers and all that.
Wisely stated, Elias. Well-armed company will be most welcome.
I do what I can. If someone went to the trouble of protecting whatever's in that box, it must be something valuable. I bet whoever sent that scout ship will be real salty that we got our hands on it. Stay sharp, Captain.
Let's dock at the station. I'm certain Vesper is more than eager to see what we found.
Welcome back, Captain. Elias tells me you've brought
Indeed,
in.
we have, Miss Calatrix. And this gift comes wrapped.
I'll pass the box along to our expert hackers. If they can't crack it open, no one can. Thank you for finding it. Elias also informs me that you're carrying a fair amount of loot. We can take that off your hands in exchange for some ISK. Mind if I take a look?
Captain, open your ship's cargo hold in order to sell the ore. Now, let's switch over to the item hangar. Select the ore to see what you can do with it. In this instance, we want to sell it to Miss Calatrix. Nearly done.
That's a nice haul you've got there. I've transferred the ISK to your wallet. I think you'll find I've been more than generous.
Open your wallet.
In your wallet,
As you can see, I'm pulling.
the total balance of ISK in your possession. The highlighted entry shows how much money you received from Air in exchange for the ore. The wallet offers a wealth of information. It provides a convenient location to view your recent transactions, track your market history, or audit your accounts.
What are you doing?
The wallet offers a wealth of information. It provides a convenient... Whenever an item is sold in New Eden, a tax is applied to that sale. The market entry displays your most recent transaction tax. Once you've finished gazing at your newfound riches, close your wallet and inventory. It's time we turn.
Captain, I trust you'll keep quiet about the Red Scout ship. So long as whoever responds as good as they are, it'll take some time for my team to hack through the encryptions on the box. You might as well use this time to explore what New Eden has to offer. Have you checked out the agency?
Miss Calatrix is right, Captain. In the agency, if mining tickled your fancy, as the saying goes, you might be interested in viewing the agency's dedicated resource harvesting section. As you can see, there are a variety of options available to you. If you enjoyed your time mining with Elias, you might find asteroid belts and/or anomalies worthy of pursuit.
My trunk. Yep, all the water you can drink is in my trunk. I have returned.
Elias,
I never brought it in.
Knack for mining, almost as highly as Alan did of your prowess in combat. It's clear you've got potential, Captain. I can put you in touch.
I suggest you take a moment to familiarize yourself with what each career agent has to offer.
Body
They
works.
specialize in various forms of combat, industry, and exploration. Missions provided by career agents offer a variety of rewards, including new skills, ships, modules, and money in the form of ISK, making them both lucrative and educational.
Yes, yes, yes. Yes, yes, yes.
No matter what path you choose, you will find a career agent who can help you walk it. You can even explore multiple paths if you wish. Once you've chosen, now let's close the agency. There is one last question.
Our investigation is still in the early stages, but I have two theories. A more worrying possibility is that someone is trying to stop us from pursuing our research. While air takes...
Much appreciated, Miss Calatrix. I await any captain when you're ready. We can undock and begin the next phase of our journey. Now that no one is actively trying to kill us, I will teach you stargates. After that rousing introduction to New Eden, it's nice to be in space without the threat of imminent peril. Though this is New Eden, peril often approaches when you least expect it.
Once they cut you loose from the tutorial, it is both faster paced and slower. Because then after that, there's no prompting. Do whatever you want. I long for the day.
Initiate jump sequence. I don't mean to unsettle you, Captain. You've already proven yourself capable in battle. I'm certain you can handle whatever New Eden throws your way. And if you cannot, at least you are immortal.
What is the nature of these treats that are awaiting you outside of this room?
To try again. I believe this is what humans call optimism.
It smells like an apple spice. Okay.
Initiate jump sequence. According to archaeological findings, New Eden was first settled by humans over 15,000 years ago. Life must have been very difficult for those early settlers. Carbon-based life forms are stunningly fragile. With the right pressure, a human's vertebrae will snap.
Carbon-based life forms. Carbon-based life forms.
Time to land, Captain. In
Still won't let me access the market. Very frustrating. Frustrating. Most frustrating. Nobody's more frustrated than us. Nobody gets frustrated better than us. We are at the cutting edge of being frustrated. And stymied in our efforts. Mostly by China. Literally at this point, or Korea or China, whoever the hell owns Black Desert Online is now the bane of my existence because that's who bought EVE Online.
Agent, you must first access the agency.
The agency.
Well remembered, Captain. I knew you would be quick to learn. Now don't be shy. Your choice of career agent will not limit you in any way. You can choose to work with multiple agents, but let's focus on just one for now.
Dear Lord.
Let's tidy up our display, shall we? Close the agency and agent conversation. Career agents offer adventures designed to hone your skills. Air has provided a skill plan you need since you have accepted the Enforcer's mission for your chosen career path. You can view the contents. All good Capsuleers will always have a skill in training. And you are a good Capsuleer, are you not? To prove to me what using skill plans to guide your progression will make your life easier and prove rewarding. As you explore different career opportunities, you will find skill plans tailored to match your evolving goals. For your chosen career path, you will for your chosen career path, you for your chosen career path, you will all good.
Dear Lord.
Always have using skill plans to guide your progression will make your life easier and prove rewarding.
What's going to make my life easier is to get out of this tutorial.
With new ships, we're almost ready to embark on our new adventure. Now is the perfect time to close any windows you no longer need. Details regarding the mission you accepted from the career agent are displayed on the info panel. Here, you can view the mission briefing, objectives, and rewards. Should you ever need to be reminded of any of those details, you can always check the info panel.
If they just let me into the market, I could take what they gave me for money and be through with all this. You should see how fast things advance when you're not a victim of the tutorial. Bottom of every bag of chips is a bunch of broken nothing. Oh no, an enemy. Hooray. They just won't let me access anything. Less than 4 damage per second. That is precious. That is tantamount to harmless. I am harmless. You'll note that I have to get that number of fall off to be closer than the enemy. Or the enemy closer than the fall off. You know what I mean? Maybe you don't know what I meant. You don't even know what I'm doing right now. It's just random crap. You'll note he can heal himself and I can't. These guys have bounties. Most NPCs do, actually. All the pirates have bounties. Although some factions, like Galante, have no bounty for destroying them. They have dog tags that you have to loot from their wrecks to sell. Which is like bounties with extra steps. I keep hunching. It's not good to hunch. You should hunch. No hunching. Oh yay, he healed himself. That'll make this fight much more quicker. Slowly starting to unlock features. Now I can see readouts for distance, which is a critical tool in combat. Made pumpkin pie. It's not the deliciousness that I need, but it's the deliciousness that I deserve. We can loot this one. Oh yeah, metal scraps. I can retire now. I've won the game. Yay, market. So here's how we do this. You'll note that you obviously have to be a paid subscriber to have mining barges, which, big surprise, but you know, whatever. And we're going to do another important step here. I'm going to add myself as a contact. This will allow me to give myself money so that I can buy whatever I need willy-nilly. You'll notice up here it says total training time. A year of training time to get to this point. Yikes. But honestly, a lot of this has to do with things like drones, which, whatever, who cares? Drones are of no concern to me. Or a spaceship operation is a big deal. Target management. Navigation is not nothing. Resource harvesting is the big one, though. And shield tanking is not a terrible idea either. But really what you want first right off the rip is core spaceship operation and resource harvesting. Everything else is kind of secondary to that. In 90 days, this character will be level 3 proficient, which is not terrible. We're just going to add that to quick bar so that we can find it quickly and then know where to train our skills. This is basically how it works. You just set your goals and go for it. $2,000 credits. Let me get some stuff crack-a-lacking.
completed. Skill training completed. Skill training completed.
And off we go. In case you're wondering what we can do to decrease the training time necessary to unlock all this stuff, most of the answer to that is spend real money on it. On average, your monthly subscription is going to cost $20 a month. You get a price break if you do 3-month subscriptions. And sometimes it goes on sale. You're already going to spend $20 a month anyway. But in that regard, this game's a lot like Elder Scrolls Online. Because while you can technically play for free, it makes the game that much more grindy. Although the difference between this and Elder Scrolls Online is that you get a lot more for your monthly subscription than just a craft bag. I'm pretty sure you gotta pay every month to play Final Fantasy too. And that game is just cancer. For that matter, so is the Old Republic. Now, the Old Republic and Final Fantasy Online have amazing stories. That you might as well just take in by watching other people play it. EVE Online, I know it seems like there's a coherent story going on, but most of the in-game content as far as meta is player created. Player organizations or guilds in other games are known as corporations in EVE. You can create your own corporation, have a one-man corporation, or you can have all your friends join. And then, your corporation can join with other people's corporations via these things known as alliances, which are basically super cores. And let me tell you, it's the alliance that basically acts as the backbone for EVE events. There's this one alliance that came about known as Safety, and they gained a lot of notoriety by way of what the hell? Oh, I'm here to buy something, right? They came into prominence by coming in a high security space where Care Bears like me hang out, where there's rules. If I undock and somebody attacks me, which you technically could attack me when I undocked, and then you'd get blown up by the non-player character police. Now, if we go into low security space or null security space where there is no rules, you can shoot me unprovoked and blow me up, and there will be no consequences for you. So this alliance Safety came out of nowhere. Started going into high security stations where people should be basically left alone. And people that were just peacefully mining asteroid belts would get ganks, which is to say they would show up and blow you up. Now in EVE Online, as opposed to other MMOs, what you lose, you lose. So if this ship gets blown up, the ship and everything that's equipped to it is gone. And then I spawn in my pod next to it and I warp off. Now in some cases, they'll lock onto your pod and blow that up too, which means you'll respawn in a clone vat. Problem with that is, if you put implants in your brain and your body gets destroyed, so do those implants. So there's a lot more risk in EVE Online than there is in other MMOs, where you'll just like, oh my god, they killed me in PvP, and now I'm respawn. It's kind of like old school Diablo, where like you drop a body and you'd have to go back to your body to get your equipment again. It's kind of like that. Only if you go back to your ship wreckage, it's only wreckage, and some of your shit can be salvaged and most of it cannot. So safety comes into high security and just starts blowing up PvP or PvE Care Bears. People running non-player character missions like I'm doing, and people that are mining like I'm going to be doing. Start attacking them unprovoked and blowing them up, and they institute what amounts to a blackmail system or an extortion system, kind of like the Ottoman Empire did to the fledgling United States, you know, back when America was first founded. If you pay our ransom, we'll leave you alone and leave you in peace, and if you don't pay, we'll just harass you and make you miserable and make you hate life. Now, what our founding fathers ran into is the reality that once these people get your money, it doesn't really matter if they stick to their word or not. They got paid, and you can't, what are you gonna do, ask for a refund because they went back to taking your trade ship's ransom? Of course not. Which is why our country now has a navy, but that's neither here nor there. Point in case, not a lot is going on in the story of EVE Online. Like, if you actually read the text of these missions, like, oh, well, you know, you're gonna blow up the bad guys and save these civilians. It's just wash, rinse, and repeat with missions in EVE. It's very stale, over and over and over again. Do the same thing over and over and over again. There's no impact to it other than your standings with that empire increases. Interactions, standings, bad guys, good guys, mission agent. When the agent relationship goes up high enough, you unlock the ability to do better missions. Right now I can only do level 1 missions. Once I get to this point, I'll be able to do level 2 missions, level 3 missions, level 4 missions, level 5 missions. Level 5 missions are endgame content. You have to go into low security space where there's no punishment for people that attack you. So when you're in the process of doing these missions, you have to be equipped so that players can't gank you. And how you fit your ship for PvE, player versus environment, is very different oftentimes from how you would fit your ship for player versus player. You have to be equipped to be able to do both halfway decent to survive either. It's challenging. Either that or you join a player corporation and you fleet up and there's a bunch of you. Or at least more than one, ideally. So there's that. Now, if for a given empire your standing drips too low, you will be attacked outright for just being in their space. So you got to be kind of mindful, you know, like if I continue doing missions for MR, most of the time I'll be fighting against pirates, but sometimes I'll be doing missions against other empires, which is the 4 races that when I started my character, there's 4 races. You know, you'll be fighting against 2 of those 4 races. No matter what empire you join, 2 of those races are now your enemy. So you need to be mindful of that, and it is what it is. It's something to be aware of and something to not, you know, let slip from your awareness.
Skill training completed.
Now we're gonna go try to make some money. But the character is basically established now. We're kind of through the tutorial for the most part. Obviously, there's a lot more hand-holding to be had if you choose it. We're not going to. This marks the 1/3 way through my training for basic mining barges. The rest of this kind of will go pretty quickly. It's 5 days from mastery here. Well, basic mastery, we should say. And then, of course, you want to become an Omega miner. Which is not so different than what I'm setting up for now. It's just there's more to it. You know? And it's 60 days of training. Now, for the low price of about $40, you can take 20, maybe 30 days off that. Which is not nothing. It's not nothing, but it's not everything either. But as soon as I can get in a barge and start halfway proficiently mining, that's going to help me make money for all my characters, so it's something to consider. Now, I think that you can buy skill points for your alpha clone too. Yes. You can, for a low price of too much goddamn money. $50,000 on a gallon. 50,000 unallocated skill points. The injector is consumed immediately once activated. The injector may only be used with characters in the alpha clone state, and only one alpha clone injector may be used per day. Imagine that. It might have something to do with the name daily, as in for once per day. Well, I don't have 51 million laying around. Not anywhere close. My characters do. My primary and secondary account have all kinds of money, but it would break my bank to be funding this fucker 51 million a day. There is another way. You can use in-game money, you can use real money, do whatever you want. All hail Bang Energy. Loot Fairy. was just approached by one of the GMs, which is kind of cool. It's nice to see that they are able to look in on you like that. And of course, now that I've taken a mining mission, they send me combat, which is probably going to get my ass handed to me. I'm not going to lie, this kind of concerns me. If these guys do any damage whatsoever, I'm out of here. One of the biggest elements of tank with EVE Online is transversal. Like if somebody's shooting at you and you're moving like this, it's harder to hit you than if you're just moving away from them or towards them, because then it's just a straight shot. So staying in motion can keep you alive. Oh shit. Oh shit. Well, the new player experience is better than ever. For sure. Things were never this accommodating in the beginning, you know. This dude hooked it up. What should I put in my low slot? What is there though? Is there? Well, that just saved me a ton of time. Now you'll note that other ships have different bonuses. This ship, because it's a mining ship, has bonuses to mining. Mining frigate bonuses. Mining yield, gas cloud, scoop duration. 100% bonus to mining and gas cloud scoop yield. Increased warp core strength so that I don't get ganked as easily. All basic stuff. All good stuff. It's fast too. Very fast. And just like this, we have our beginnings. I basically have 4 mining lasers now. Not literally, but I might as well, the way this works out. Ten cycles. Notice how hard it is for them to do damage to me? Can't do nothing. They're trying. They are trying. Oh no, they actually hit me. Ah. Everyone's watching X-Files. I love X-Files. They can't fuck with me. I'm just... My traversal is too good for him. Speed tank. No. Level 2, level 3. Oh, I can forward you adapt for it. But this early on, there's a lot you can do to be resistant to these clowns. As soon as I finish this mission, I'll be signing off. I just wanted to give people that might be interested in EVE Online a chance to see what the game was like with the new game experience. And what you can expect to get into right off the rip. Now you'll note that I had intervention from GM Kronos there, who was an amazing encounter. He gave me a bunch of free stuff. I don't know how often they do that, if they do that for every last character, or if they just randomly select noobs to do that for. Couldn't tell you. But what I can tell you is that the sky's really the limit in this game. And even though I'm sitting over here configuring myself to sit in this mining barge, That doesn't have to be what you fly. You don't have to laser asteroids. You can laser people in their own personal ships, or you can play PvE and blow up robot bad guys like non-player characters. You can really do whatever you want. You can play the market if you have a fondness for math, especially, and you like economics. The market in EVE is one of the most realistic markets of all time. You can see here there's sell orders and buy orders. You can look at the price history for a given item, and they have all kinds of stuff that I don't know what it is, but if you're an economist, you probably recognize some of this stuff. You can look at it in table form, or you can look at it in graph form, and you can analyze the quality of the number of sales for a given good and the price history, and you can use this information. You literally can make a fortune in EVE Online if you know how to trade, just by buying low and selling high, obviously, and you can do that with any of the commodities, and pretty much almost every last thing on this market, all of these things, ship equipment, skins, well, maybe not the skins, but like the buildings, the ships, the rigs, the guns that you put on the ships, the ammunition that you use, the drones, all this is made in the industry sector of EVE. So most of these items, I wouldn't say all, but most of these items are manufactured by other players with the types of materials that you get from ore. So you mine the ore, you refine it, you use industry to take blueprints that you find that are dropped in certain missions, and then you can use these ores to produce items, and then you can sell those items on the market. So all these things are pretty much player created for the most part. Very few exceptions. And so those things turn into things that people use, and then people use those things to do all kinds of things. Naughty things, noble things, wasteful things, wise things, and so on and so on. And if you do, want to get into combat, they have a lot of amazing ships. What the hell's a flag cruiser? I don't know. That's new. I don't know what that is. But heavy assault cruisers, you can get into these. They do a lot of damage, and they're pretty sturdy ships. As you can see, they're about a third of a billion, so they're not playing around. They're pretty efficient at what they do. Strategic cruisers, I have one of these. It has different modules, so depending on how it's equipped, it actually changes its appearance, which these are unique in this regard. You can see how there's like slight changes. And you can basically, depending on how you have it set up, this ship can be configured for all kinds of different purposes. It's one of the most versatile ships in the game. It doesn't excel at any one thing, but it's good at a lot of things. You can also get into industry, like of hauling, so like you can haul your stuff through all kinds of dangerous environments. They even have jump freighters, which are like, they have the ability to like go from here to over here through instantaneous travel. And this is important because travel in EVE Online is through stargates, and sometimes when you go through a stargate, the security system of point A here, which is pretty high, 1.0 being the highest, the other side of that gate might be like 0.4, which is low security space. Anything under 0.5 is low security space. People can attack you unprovoked there, and sometimes when you're moving very valuable commodities, players will gank you, blow you up to try to get access to some of those things in your cargo hold. One of the ways that you can evade this is by using jump freighters, because then you can use instant teleportation to get from here to here. You have a limited range to how far you can jump, and then each jump obviously costs fuel. Normal travel, like traveling around like I'm doing now, all the things I'm doing right now don't cost fuel per se. I use capacitor, but it recharges over time. But jumping requires a physical fuel, because you're circumnavigating the rules of the game, so to speak, by not using jump gates, so they want to make you pay for that. Battleships, they're kind of a big deal. I'll show you a really badass one. The Nightmare is pretty cool. It uses lasers and shields. Generally, almost anything that uses lasers is an armor tank ship. This one is shields and lasers. Pretty cool. Although it's ridiculous on capacitor usage, so that's a problem. A rattlesnake here is a drone boat. It uses little guys that come out of the ship to go attack things for you. Almost all of its damage is done with drones. It's pretty cool, and it's a very effective ship for attacking non-player characters. There's 4 types of damage in EVE Online, and basically the way they work is very much rock, paper, scissors. So you have EM, thermal, kinetic, and explosive. And usually almost every ship has a hole. Like, mine, for instance, you'll notice that there's no EM defense on the shields. There's a hole there, so if anybody attacks me with EM, they're going to punch right through my shields. But then my armor, the strongest thing that it resists is EM. So, you know, they might switch gears and hit me with explosives. So if they use EM to get through my shields and explosives to get through my hull, you know, or I mean through my armor rather, into my hull, and then, you know, the hull offers some resistance, but very little. Now my ship has like no hit points. You can basically alpha my ship with a lot of different ships out there, but I don't have no skills. As you level up skills for your character, shields, these statistics improve. Shield operation, 5% reduction in shield recharge time, which means I get my shields back faster. Shield management, 5% bonus to shield capacity per level. So once I max this out, that's a 25% bonus to my overall shield points. Tactical shield manipulation, reduces the chance of damage penetrating my shields when my shields are less than 25%. So by the time you max that out, no damage will get past your shields until you have no more shields. Thermal shield compensation, kinetic, explosive, and EM, what these do, 5% bonus to thermal resistance per level. So like when you get all those maxed out, you get 25% bonus on all those, and it fills up your EM hole a little bit. Shield compensation, 2% less capacitor need for shield boosters, which is the thing that a module you can use to immediately give yourself shields back. I guess you could call it a healing module, but in the classical sense it really isn't. Whatever. But you know, as you see though, as these skills train in real time, you become less vulnerable and more effective at all the things that you elect to do in the game. So I mean, maybe you want to fly something like this for combat. Maybe you want to do player versus player. You're probably going to be doing a lot of battle cruisers and destroyers, because they have a high damage output as compared to other ships, because they have more turret slots. See, the Oracle here uses large turrets instead of medium. It's a gank mobile, and so forth and so on. The game is really up to you. Like, you're gonna, almost anything you fly, you're gonna be shooting at things, whether you're using mining lasers to shoot at rocks, or lasers to shoot at players or non-player characters, or auto cannons, or rail guns, or missiles. They have a bunch of different weapons platforms to choose from. All of them will do one or a combination of the 4 damage types. Drones, for example, almost always do one exclusive damage type for that particular drone. But they sell drones that do all of the damage types. So like if you want to do kinetic, you'll use like Hornets, I think they're called. And if you want to do, you know, explosive damage, you'll do Warriors, etc., etc. So like drone-based combat ships have the ability to do perfect damage against any damage hole, as it were. And these are just things you want to think about. You know, because the game's really all about what do you want to do, and one of the great things about EVE Online is they give you the versatility to do it all. If you train your character for long enough, and you play for 4 or 5 years, literally it takes 4 or 5 years unless you buy your skill points, which you can absolutely do. There's no ship that you can't fly at that point. Like, you can do it all. So like, there's that to think about. It's not unreasonable for you to anticipate mining one day with your character, and then taking that same character out to null sec or low sec to do a gate camp in a combat ship and just ruin somebody's day and make a quick buck off of their smoldering wreckage. You know, you can be a weekend wild child and a weekday miner, or you can do a weekday PvP, and then on the weekends you can hop in your mining barge and go out to the asteroid belt so that you can choke your chicken. You know, do some semi away from keyboard gameplay. I mean, you don't want to completely abandon anything you do in this game because people will come up and gank you if you're not paying attention. But my point remains, you can do what you want. The game is very massive. It allows for a lot of opportunities for you to customize your playstyle. There are some meta rules for fitting your ships, which is to say cookie cutter formulas for being the most effective. But honestly, like, over the years, this game has really kind of, somewhat in a good way, somewhat in a bad way, they've simplified the formula. Like, for example, when you look at my ship, again, if you read the description of the ship, it's telling you, you know, you're mining. See, it's a key word, you're mining. You can do gas cloud mining, which is another kind of mining, but you're generally mining. Mining gas clouds. And then the industrial signal field, which what that does is you basically plop down a beacon so that ships with a jump drive can, like, teleport to you. And industrial, it's probably a Rorqual or a jump freighter. But you'll notice 100% bonus to mining and gas clouds. So that means you effectively, as part of having this ship, if you have 2 mining lasers equipped, the efficiency that you experience is like 4 mining lasers. And the ship gives you hints like that to kind of guide you to, like, how you should equip it. Like, for example, let's go over here. I'm about to be piloting one of these very shortly in my main account. The Golem. It's a very advanced ship. You'll notice that it's 250 days pretty much for me to just sit in it. And for level 4 mastery, it's almost 2 years of skill training. It's nothing to sneeze at. It gives you a hint at how you should be equipping it. You want to put a shield booster on it because to get a bonus for that. Target painters are useful. I'm not going to get into all what these modules do because that'd take me hours. Cruise missiles and torpedoes get bonuses. Heavy missiles get a bonus, but generally you're going to use cruise or torpedoes on this particular ship. Tractor beams are useful on this ship because most of what this ship is designed to do is level 4 missions. And so the target painter allows you to hit smaller ships with your massive missiles, because cruise missiles and torpedo missiles are huge. Their explosion size and velocity is so large that a small ship traveling through it is not going to take much damage. What the target painter does is make sure that when the missile explodes, that little ship is right in the middle of the explosion to experience the explosion for as long as possible and take that damage. Micro jump drives, bastion modules, shield extenders, armor plates, reinforced bulkheads are all things that you would probably integrate into fitting out this ship for use in a mission. So when you read the description for a lot of these ships, it's giving you a lot of information right out on the front, so that you know, okay, well, I'm going to be using a large Vorton projector, probably going to want to put a shield extender, armor plate, and the reason why it's giving you all these, because you don't ever really fit a shield and an armor tank. Every ship is going to be either shield or armor. If it's saying that you get bonuses to both, it's probably telling you that this is an all-out combat boat. This thing is meant to just be beat to hell and back and survive. And so generally, if you want to have a ship that's just tough as nails, you're going to double up on your tank. But most of the time, these all-out combat vessels suffer if you put too much in a tank, because you only have so many slots. You'll notice with my ship, I have 3 high slots, 3 mid slots, 1 low slot. So 4 ships generally are shield tanked, not armor tanked. If I was going to try to make this an armor tanked boat, I would be kind of screwed because I only have 1 module slot to do that with, whereas if I want to make this thing as tanked as I can make it, I have 3 slots to do it on the shield. Not really enough to get a whole lot done, but it's better than nothing. Battleships will largely have 6 to 8 slots up top, 2 to 5 slots on the mids, and anywhere from 3 to 8 slots down below for armor. 8 slots is unusual, but like maybe like 5, 6 slots. If it's a shield tank ship like the Golem is, it's going to have more mid slots and less low slots. And we can actually see that right here if we read the description of the ship itself. Fitting. You'll note that there's 8 high power slots, 7 medium slots because it's a shield tank ship, and 4 low slots. Now, you'll also notice that it only has 4 slots for launchers, for weapons. So even though it has 8 high slots, you can only use half of those for weapons. It's leaving those other 4 slots open up top for modules such as tractor beams, which bring wreckage to you so that you can salvage them, salvagers so that you can salvage what you tractor to you, bastion modules to increase your defense and damage while you're parked in place during a mission, so forth and so on. The game, I'm not going to say it's not intricate and elaborate and the learning curve's not high for people that are a little derpy-der, but if you got a little common sense and you've done your share of MMO gameplay, what's going on with Eve is really not that different. It's not that much more complicated. It's not necessary for you to feel this feeling in the pit of your stomach that you're about to just get lost and be ground up and spit out. It's not like that. And honestly, the player base in Eve is a lot less toxic than a lot of MMOs out there. If you come in respectful and are just kind to other people and you ask your questions honestly and you're willing to earn your share, you'll find a lot of player corporations ready to recruit you right on the spot. They will walk you through what you need to do, what skills you need to learn, what you need to buy on the market to fit your ship out for maximum efficiency. A lot of the bigger corporations will actually give you ships and give you skill books to learn so that you don't have to buy them. Because some of these skill books are expensive. Like, let's go to these Omega ones. Like, well, I can't show you, but this one's 195,000. You might not have 195,000 is when you first start the game. You're new. That mission I just did only paid me $38,000 and $29,000. So like, 67K is all I got to do that mission just now. It's not a lot. I mean, you can do a ton of those and it will end up adding up, but do you really want to spend all that time doing low payout missions? Of course not. Now, you can do higher level missions that pay better eventually, but you have to earn standings with that agent's corporation, or that's the wrong word, because non-player characters don't have corporations. They have factions. Ministry of Assessment. So we can go to the Ministry of Assessment. It'll show stations where you can learn, or agents and where they're located, so that you can go do missions for them. Standings. The higher your standings, the higher level missions you can do for that particular agency. If you want to do, level 4 missions for a particular faction, you're gonna have to get out there and do a ton of lower level missions for them so that they unlock level 4 for you. I'm not just gonna give it to you. Some things in EVE Online cannot be shortcutted. I will suggest though that you get involved with a player corporation right off the rip if you're serious about EVE, because what they can do is they can put you in a fleet, you can warp into the mission safely out of the line of fire, your corporation mate will finish the mission with you in tow, like you're there for it, you're present when he does this, and then some of that standings will be yours too. So you can basically be rushed through to have higher standing over time. There's also the means for somebody to take money from you in exchange for starting a corporation with high standings if they have them, making you an employee of that corporation. Then after a couple of days probation go by for game mechanics, they make you the CEO, and then they just quit the corporation. So now you have a high security corporation that's well established, which means there's things you can do in high security space in that particular empire that you normally couldn't because you have high standing with them. there are a lot of different hoops you can jump through to skip years and years and years of grind in this game. Some of them cost real world money, and some of them just require that you know the right people and you're at the right place at the wrong time. Wait, at the right place at the right time. I'm very sleepy. So, again, if this game seems interesting to you and you're not afraid to look at a few complicated user interfaces and you're ready to get dirty and fast with whoa, what? I have played for 120 minutes, I get a bunch of ISK. I'll take that. That was surprising. Cool. So anyways, oh, that was really awesome. So if you're willing to like jump into something that looks complicated at first, but ultimately is every bit as simple as almost every other MMO you've played, but allows you more flexibility than all the other MMOs you've played, with a more continuous user base than other games that you've played, where every player that's logged in is located on the same server shard where you are, so that you can make friends from all across the planet and play any way you want. You can be a good guy. You can be a bad guy. It is legal to scam other players as long as you do it in the game without hacking or anything like that. You're not allowed to use botting. You're not allowed to hack. But if you put up a market order for something like, oh, you know, if you buy the, or if you give me a tritanium, then I'll give you 100 million ISK. You're like, holy cow, that's like a great deal. Why are you doing this? Oh, I'm quitting the game. I just want to give everything away, and they won't just let me give you money, so you have to give me something so I can give you a bunch of money. And then you give this dude one tritanium thinking he's going to give you 100 million, but what you did was you bought that tritanium for 100 million, and he actually lied to you and you didn't read carefully. But here's the thing, most scams in EVE Online only work because you don't read the small print. When you go to contracts, contracts, there we go. The menu's different, you gotta understand. Contract search. I don't know, I'm trying here, I really am. Crap. What's something else I can type in? Alright, here we go. This is a contract. You can view it. If you read carefully, you will pay 1 million ISK and you will get one Punisher blueprint. If you pay closer attention, this is a copy of a blueprint, not the original. The original blueprint, you can make as many Punishers as you want. With a copy, once you've done it twice and built 2 Punishers, the blueprint is destroyed. And that's for 1 million ISK. Some people will buy this thinking they're getting the original blueprint, which are quite expensive because they're really rare. Original blueprints are dropped or basically spawned in game by the creators of the game. Players don't make them, but once you have the original, you can use the original to make copies to your heart's content and sell those. But if you read the contract, and it's not, as you saw, it's a very simple thing. Like, the contracts aren't like full of a bunch of like clauses and whatnot. It's just like you pay, you get. What do you get? Read carefully. He might say, oh, this is a contract for a golem, but it's just a Raven, which is like the Tech 1 ship that the golem is based on. you got yourself a Raven for 1.5 billion ISK when that ship only costs like, I don't know. How much does it cost? It only cost 360 million, so you basically paid like, I don't know, like what? Like 5 times what it costs. And you get just this basic ship. I mean, it's not a bad ship, but it's not a goal. I mean, and getting misled on that level, that, dude, if you're not buying your money if you're not buying in-game money with real money, then 1.5 billion ISK is like months of grinding at like, your character's 2 or 3 years old, you've been doing this for a while, and that's what you're making over a period of months. It's no joke. So you can get scammed in EVE, and you can scam other people in EVE. So you definitely want to read before you agree to anything. And I don't care what people are telling you, like, read. But you can go gank people, you can be a pirate, you can go into warfare. EVE has some of the largest player versus player battles ever done on any video game in the history of humanity. Like, there was a couple of fights out in Wormhole Space or somewhere like that where, like, these people were doing, like, oh my goodness, like, thousands of ships versus thousands of ships. It was like literal armada versus armada, and it was so bad that, like, it was chopping and lagging. And CCP, the company that invented EVE back before they sold it to Black Desert Online people, what you would do if you wanted to have a massive scale battle like that is you would notify the company ahead of time, and they would actually pull aside server space for you to do your thing, where they would give you the horsepower you needed to run these huge fights without breaking the game. And there have been some ridiculous battles in EVE where literally tens of thousands of US dollars worth of ships were blown to smithereens for no recovery. No chance of ever getting that back. Just gone. So that should give you an idea for the scale that this game offers. If you're a team player, if you like having strong social ties with a group of individuals that share your playstyle preferences, and you want to make something truly special, the game allows for that. You can actually have your own citadel or starbase or whatever they call it nowadays. It's changed over the years. Out in some solar system where, like, you can charge players a tax to come in, dock at your station, fix their ship up, and trade things or store things there. You can charge them money for that. And then you can have in your own stations manufacturing facilities where you can produce ships, ship modules, ship modifications, ship ammunition, etc., etc., etc. They have planetary interaction where, like, you can put extractors on a planet to take planetary goods, refine them on the planet, and then launch them up at a spaceport and collect them and sell them on the market, or use them to build stuff that you want to build, because planetary commodities are used to build all manner of things. The game is huge. And again, there's just, you'd have to play for probably like at least 9 to 12 months to get a feel for half the content and decide whether or not it's a waste of your time or not. And it is a big commitment. It can be very daunting, and I would say that if you play this game, you're probably going to need to put in about 15 hours a week to get anywhere at all. And I know that sounds like a bit, but it really isn't. That's like 3 hours a day, 5 days a week. And honestly, about 2 to 3 hours a day is about right. I'm playing as an alpha character here, which means I'm not a paid account, because you just watched me make this character from scratch. If I'm playing Omega, like, it's really going to become critical that I'm playing, 15 plus hours a week, because I'm paying for it at that point. And if you're paying for something and not using it, then woe is you. Now, you will have to remember to yourself that these skills you're learning that allow you to unlock ships and fit certain modules are training in real time. So if I don't modify this or interfere in any way, this is going to take 17 days and 21 hours and 7 minutes for this list of skills to finish learning. Whether I'm clocked in or not, it just keeps doing its thing. It's just one of the beautiful things. The maintenance is pretty low as far as keeping your character advancing. And the vast majority of what makes your character advance and is the limiting factor in how much money you can make per hour in this game, like how many ISK per hour they say, is your skill points. Because your skill points, as you saw, are very impactful upon your ship's statistics, how much damage you do, how much damage you can absorb, how much mining you can do in an hour, etc., etc., etc. There are even skills that relegate your trade skills. So like, if you are going to be like the stockbroker type dude and buy low and sell high, you're going to need skills that reduce the tax, because when you trade things on the shop front, there's a tax. When you sell things, you have to pay a broker's fee, a percentage for the items you sell. So let's say you sell 400,000 ISK worth of stuff, you might have a tax of like 7, 8, 9,000 ISK for that, and that number goes down when you train the right skill books. And then two, skill books actually dictate a lot. Skill books are kind of the thing. How many skill points your character has is really the ultimate measure as to how effective you are at the game and how seriously people are going to take you. Now, be mindful that even though that's the case, nobody can see your skill points but you, with very few exceptions that require you doing some risque stuff on the internet, off the game. It's complicated. It's huge. It can be simple as you want it to be, or it can be as involved and life-altering as you choose it to be. It really depends. It's up to you. But the game can be for everybody. It's a very inclusive game. Many people the world over play it. And when you join a player corporation, who's there with you might be somebody that lives in your town, and it might be somebody that literally lives across the planet. Russians play EVE Online. Jews play EVE Online out of Israel. A bunch of countries in the African continent play EVE Online. A lot of the Middle East are really into it, you know, like a lot of those like metropolitan dudes over there that are like in the cities like in Dubai and whatnot kill for this game. Like, they love this game. You know, all of Europe, like Canada, Mexico, like the whole world plays EVE Online. And ever since Black Desert Online bought EVE Online, now the Koreans are all up on here too, and I have mixed feelings about that. It's not an ethnic thing, it's just that Koreans have a tendency to pay to win their way to success. And now the game is just flooded with all these whales, and it's frustrating. I mean, what are you gonna do? But before Koreans had access to the game, it was pretty stable. And I mean, there was some shenanigans, but like that all went into like 11th gear. Now China plays EVE Online too, and that's a relatively new development. But you'll note that China, the entirety of China, has their own game server node. They are not on Tranquility with you and me. They have their own thing going on, and they are not going to allow their citizens to play on Tranquility. So Chinese people that play this game are not going to be on the same server as me. It's the same game, it's just the rest of the world is not allowed to interact with you because reasons, I guess. I don't know what the rule is with Russia, to be honest, but with all this Ukraine nonsense going on. So I'm not really sure, like, if they're allowed on the public server, or if they share China's server, or how that works, to be honest. But I know Russians love them some EVE Online as well. It's a popular game. And if you're one of those sick individuals that takes some kind of derivative pleasure off of ruining somebody's day and just blackpilling them into just believing there's no hope and that the game's just stupid, and you want to make somebody rage quit, oh, but you can. All you gotta do is just wait until they're hauling some goodies to market, like weeks worth of mission loot, and they're just running to the market to sell it all, and then you just come along and pop them and let it all spill out into space, and then just help yourself to whatever survived your attack, and then just, oh my god, player characters will just rage over that. And why shouldn't they? Like I said earlier, when you lose a ship, you have lost that ship. It is dead, it's gone, it's blown up, it's pieces. There's some wreckage, and you can loot through some of that and maybe find some intact pieces, but there's not gonna be much. So like, losing a ship is a big deal in EVE. How do they say it in /B on 4chan so many years ago? Internet spaceships, serious business. And with that sentiment, I think I'm out of here. I'm just gonna go ahead and log out. Next gift, 8 hours. Am I sure I want to quit the game? Don't ask me that again. And I hope you had fun watching this. I hope it was educational. I hope that I was entertaining for you and that I didn't just drive you nuts. I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea and all that. But yeah. This was an experimental live stream as well. I've never streamed with YouTube before, so this is the first for me as well. I'm going to go ahead and leave it up on my channel. It's a little bit of a departure from my normal content, which is usually just raving against the vagaries of the universe and beating the hell out of myself and questioning everything I ever done and a lot of resentment and sullenness. But I thought it'd be fun to just do some video games. Video games are good. I don't know. I might explore some other platforms like Twitch. I don't even know what Streamlabs or StreamYard is, but I keep hearing people say it. You know, so I'm just gonna keep poking around and find my preferred platform for streaming my shenanigans. And I think honestly, like, nobody really plays EVE Online on all these game streams. Like, I watch Razor Fist Arcade, and like he plays a lot of cool games. Don't get me wrong, and actually, some of his episodes have led me to buy certain game titles as a result of watching him play them. I thought that they looked enjoyable, and the guy's got good taste. So like Razor Fist is an amazing dude. His vocabulary and general presentation and his rhetoric is amazing, and it's very entertaining, and that's great. His visual, like, twin counterpart, Sticks, Axe, and Hammers, a pretty cool dude, but he does nothing with video games on YouTube. He plays them, but he doesn't talk about them. They kind of motivated me to do this, so I'm going to start doing game streams, and EVE's kind of my jam. I might do some other game streams for other games, but, I don't know. I'm going to put a lot of time into EVE here, you know, because I got some older characters, and I'm coming up on some milestones. And it's I think time for me to just get on board the bandwagon and join the world and doing something relatively frivolous and pointless. And you know, if a couple people watch, that's cool. This is not about money. I don't even think I am monetizable, and it's not even because of my low viewer count. It's because I say some pretty controversial crap in my normal videos. Stuff that I'm not going to take down, stuff that I'm not going to take back, stuff that I stand by, but opinions that are not for everybody. And it might be that my opinions are enough not for everybody that nobody wants to watch any of my content, so be it, whatever, who cares. But I'm gonna do me, because you gotta be me, I gotta be me. Well, who else could I be? I gotta be me, or however that song goes, I don't fucking know. Well, I'm gonna bid you all good night. It is now 11 p.m. and I'm exhausted. I'm gonna pop some melatonin and lose consciousness after I take a nice big giant shit. This has been Slothy. Good night.